So I'm just waiting to check the feed. And we are now live and still waiting for one.
All right, we're still waiting for quorum. Madam Clerk, should we start?
So to the chair, no, we'll just wait the 15 minutes to see if we receive quorum. Right. And at that time, if we do not have quorum, we'll have to adjourn the meeting.
All right, so 15 minutes and then we'll take it from there. We actually only need one more. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. We could enjoy another cup of coffee or while we wait.
So I've just, Maggie is trying to join us. She's just having some issues, so I'm going to resend her the link.
Perfect. And we should have quorum then, and we'll start as soon as she gets on. No matter how long you do it, sometimes you just can't get on. We've done it for almost 2 years on Zoom meetings, and still sometimes I have problems, so I understand.
It seems like there's always something.
Yes, there is something.
Something new to challenge.
That's why we appreciate the clerks. They're always bail us out how to do things.
Well, sometimes we're challenged too.
I really appreciate the clerks.
And my apologies, I misstated. It'll be 30 minutes that we'll wait if we don't have quorum at the beginning. It's if there's an issue midway through, it's 15 minutes. So,
okay.
But I believe we'll be able to get Maggie on here shortly.
Great.
Oh, and Susan has joined us. So we do now have quorum, and I'm going to continue to help Maggie get on.
Okay, so we'll start now then. And,
yes.
I want to welcome everyone, and I would like to call the BIA Advisory Committee meeting to order. Members of the public are advised that our meetings are webcast live by the City of Hamilton and temporarily archived on the city's website. As well, a reminder that all electronic devices are to be switched to a non-audible function during this meeting. I will do the roll call. Katie from Ancaster.
Good morning.
Welcome. Jessica Meyer, our new member. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Barton Village, thank you. Christine from Concession Street.
Good morning.
Welcome. Carrie from downtown BIA.
Good morning.
Lisa Anderson, Dundas. Don't see her.
I don't think she's with us this
Okay,
morning.
Susie.
Here.
Where? There she is. Thank you. International Village. Bettina from Lock Street. Welcome back, Bettina.
And I don't think she's
Oh.
joined us yet this morning either.
Okay.
Oh, I think she's joining just right now, actually.
Okay, great. Welcome. Lock Street BIA and Maggie Burns, Ottawa Street BIA. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, returning members. Susan Penny, is she here? I don't see her. Rotterdam?
I am here.
Yep, she's here.
Oh, I don't see. Okay.
She's having some Wi-Fi issues this morning, so her camera might not be on.
Okay. And Tracy from Westdale Village and Stony Creek BIA.
Good morning, I'm
Good,
here.
good morning. Okay. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair, there are no changes to the
And
agenda.
may I have a mover and a seconder? Carrie and Katie. I moved and second. Is there anyone opposed? No. And it's carried. Declaration of interest. Are there any? I don't see any. So we'll go to 4, approval of the minutes of previous meeting. May I have a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes of the January 11th, 2022 as presented? Christina and Susie. Is there anyone opposing? I don't see any, and we're going to move on. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to staff presentation. Triaging of business improvement area request. Anita Vidovich, Business Initiative Coordinator, is here to present the committee on triaging of business improvement area request. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, everyone.
Good
I'm
morning.
just going to share my screen with you. I do have a short presentation this morning, so just bear with me as I share my screen. Okay, and I think this should do it. Can you all see it?
Looks good, Anita.
Yes, we do see
Okay,
it. Thank
great.
you.
Excellent. All right, so we'll begin. So for those of you that do not know me, my name is Anita Vidovic, and I'm a Business Initiatives Coordinator with Transportation Operations and Maintenance Division with the Public Works Department at the City of Hamilton. I wanted to take this opportunity today to provide a refresher and a general overview of the process of triaging business improvement requests from a Public Works perspective. My role as the BIA liaison with the Public Works Department is to assist all the business improvement areas and address any of the public infrastructure concerns and requests and any related maintenance activities for assets that are located in the right-of-way. So I am the central point of contact for all Public Works related requests for the business improvement areas. So I'm just gonna switch over to the next slide here. So I've prepared a short presentation today that will outline some of the following items. The first being the overview of the process of how the BIA requests are triaged. Second, we'll go over the Public Works organizational chart and all the divisions that are beneath it. We'll look at the roles and responsibilities of Public Works sections. We have an example of a BIA request and the steps that were involved with one particular one. And then we are going to look at some general statistics of the BIA requests from 2013 to 2021. And at the end, there's going to be an opportunity for any questions or comments. So to begin, we'll go over the process for triaging BIA requests and how this typically occurs. So with a request being made by the BIA Executive Director to the Public Works BIA Liaison, which would be me, or sometimes that happens through Julia Davis as well. So the Public Works BI Liaison gathers the information as needed, and depending on what the request is for, we need to determine asset responsibility, and then we begin evaluating the request for any necessary action. So then my role as the BIA liaison would be to communicate with the appropriate city department or section to assist with a potential resolution. So we would look at budget implications, we would look at different priorities and next steps. And again, I would provide communication and correspondence back to the BIA and kind of provide the summary of recommendations and an action plan that we would be looking at. So the next slide here illustrates the Public Works organizational chart, as you can see, and all the divisions that are a part of it. So we have 6 divisions that consist of transportation operations and maintenance. We have engineering services, environmental services, we have transit, energy and fleet, and facilities, and Hamilton Water. So sometimes, you know, the requests can be specific to public works operations, and other times they do touch upon other City of Hamilton departments as well, which I collaborate with for resolutions, depending on what the request is for again. Now, the hub spoke model that I've shared here as well just illustrates the efficiency system of my role as the Public Works BI liaison. Perfectly, as you know, the BIAs come to me with the request, and my role as the hub keeper that problem solves and collaborates with other departments respectively would be for a desired resolution, and again, that information would be communicated back to the BIA. So as we kind of go through over to the next slide, this one speaks to the roles and responsibilities of the 3 most frequently contacted divisions from the business improvement area requests. Firstly, we have here on the chart transportation operations and maintenance division that generally provides the BIAs with the services of street sweeping, sidewalk sweeping, road maintenance, snow removal, sidewalk weed trimming, banner arm maintenance, street lighting maintenance, publication boxes, street pole maintenance, and bench advertisements. And then secondly, we have waste collections that provides multi-sort litter and recycling pickups. We have regular or enhanced curbside waste collection along with manual litter services. We also provide sidewalk power washing, sidewalk weed trimming, maintenance of cigarette receptacles, and information kiosks cleaning, which typically occurs only once a month. And then thirdly, we have forestry and horticulture that provides services of hanging basket plants and planters. They also provide basket installs and watering. And of course, some of these services would be at cost, but nonetheless, forestry and horticulture do provide these services. They also look after maintenance of garden beds. And again, you know, if there are any tree related concerns or new requests for tree plantings, they also look at those. Now, the next slide provides a great example of a BIA request, actually from our friends at Ottawa Street BIA. And this request was specific to installation of Christmas lighting and the steps that were involved in executing this kind of a request. So the way that this occurred was the BIA worked with myself as the Public Works BI liaison to compile a list of all the pole numbers and everything that was required. And I collaborated with our experts in street lighting to determine the ownership of the poles, as that is important to note, whether they are City of Hamilton owned or Electra owned. And then again, you know, everything was summarized and the information was coordinated amongst all the parties that were involved. So if the pole was city-owned, a technician attended to inspect the pole and the receptacles, and they determined the next steps for repairs. So whether it meant ordering required parts or scheduling staff to attend and complete the necessary repairs, that was done. And then again, if the poles were Electra owned, you know, the City of Hamilton would not be allowed to touch those. So the BIA was asked to contact utilities to establish necessary arrangements for those permissions. And the important, you know, takeaway with regards to these types of requests is that we need to ensure that, you know, ample time is provided to the city crews, especially during the holiday times, as, you know, it's a very busy time and there may be a chance for some delays. Nonetheless, you know, the Public Works BI liaison, which was my role, corresponded with all the parties, including the ward councillor. And the result was that the Christmas lighting was successfully installed in time for Christmas festivities. So that was a success. Now, as we move on to the last slide of this presentation, as you'll see here, we have some statistics of the BI requests that we tracked from 2013 to 2021, which would have been for the last 8 years. And in this chart and graph, you will note that the requests generally varied on a year-to-year basis, with the maximum request being received in 2017 and the minimum of number of requests being received in 2021, which was last year. So we correlate the low number of requests that were received last year as due to COVID impact. But nonetheless, we are very happy that we provide the value-added assistance and information, and that we served and resolved 962 BI requests over the course of the last 8 years, which on average would be approximately 120 requests per year. So that's just a quick general overview of kind of how we, triage these requests and what the typical process is for us as we look after them. And, we look forward to working with all of you again to address any of your public infrastructure concerns. And thank you very much. If you have any questions or comments now, my contact information is noted on the last slide below. And I look forward again to working with all of you, and thank you for your time today. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was unmuted here. Okay, Christina, do you have any question for Anita? Thank you.
Yeah, I just have a quick question, Anita. Actually, you touched on sidewalk power washing and things like that. Does that happen on a regular schedule, or is that something that we can request if we see that a portion of sidewalk could really benefit from a good scrub?
So as the way that I understand it, you can request it. It's not a regular service that typically occurs. But again, in winter time, we focus on winter operations. But if you place a request, I can correspond with the appropriate section and department, and we can figure out, kind of like the timeline that this would be completed according to their priorities and schedules.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Thank you. No, it's more for the summer, like if there's a section that dog poop gets smeared, or something that requires some kind of really focused attention. So that's good to know. Thank you.
For sure, no problem.
Thank you, Christina. Is there anybody else going back and forth here? Okay, I don't see anyone else. Thank you, Anita. And I noticed, Anita, that the request for the BIA was really low in 2021, where there were only 50 some. And years prior, there would have been 100 or 178. What was the reason, do you think?
I think personally, I mean, I wasn't in the role. There was some transitioning as well that was happening within our department. So, we've attributed it to COVID. I know everybody must have been dealing with, the impacts of that and the constant closures. Maybe there wasn't a lot of attention on, some of the aspects of maintenance per se. So that's, what we attributed to, but we continue to monitor it. I mean, we're always here to serve and to provide services as best as we're able to. So we thought today was a good opportunity just to reconnect with everybody and just let them know we are here to assist if, there are any public infrastructure concerns, and, we'll continue to provide that service. So we're happy to work with all the BIAs.
That's great. Thank you, Anita. And
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and it was well received. So can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Carrie and Susie. Okay, I see nobody opposing, and it's carried. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go, there's no public hearing, so we're going to go 10.1, local commercial area economic recovery. We have Judy Lamb,
Thank you so much, Counselor. I'm going to lead in, and then Judy can supplement any information that I've missed. So I just wanted to provide a verbal update to the committee. There's been a few questions that have come my way. So I want to provide some clarity and next steps, and then open it up for discussion on the local, local commercial areas economic recovery program. So to give a bit of background to the committee, early in January, at the January 12th General Issues Committee meeting, the updated report for the Mayor's Task Force on Economic Recovery was put forward. At this point, the work of the task force is done. The recommendations and actions have been approved and are being implemented. And there will be regular updates from staff surrounding the work of that task force. And the report that came forward essentially reiterated some of the success stories in the last few months. And the recommendation included in the report was that a final report come to council in the spring of 2022. The work of the Mayor's Task Force, when it started in 2020, I think essentially we all hoped that there would be a finite end date at the end of 2021, and that of course has not been the case. So with respect to the recommendations in this report, council put forward a motion to amend the report to provide additional supports and to put a little bit more anchor and teeth into some of the recommendations in order to keep those going into 2022 and into 2023. So for the next 2 years, just to ensure that we are able to come out of the COVID-19 pandemic successfully and our businesses and communities have the supports that they need. So this is very narrowly scoped to our commercial districts and our economic areas. But essentially, to build on the report, the recommendation to amend it included supporting economic recovery by encouraging people to shop local, explore local, visit local business areas, and support our local small businesses. And also supporting the city's arts community by providing opportunities for artists to perform or to create and display their work. And this again is aligned to the work of the working groups number 1, the small business, restaurants, Main Street areas, and nonprofit. Working group number 4, the arts and culture group, and working group number 5, the tourism and hospitality group. So it does continue to build on some of the actions and recommendations and support those ongoing. Through this amended report, staff have now been directed to implement a local commercial areas recovery program for 2022 and 2023, which will support economic recovery citywide. And what that will look like is continuing to be scoped. We have to look at community consultation and work plan review. But again, the specific actions that this will align to in the Mayor's Task Force report are that the city embrace creative solutions to extend the seasonal use for outdoor spaces and ensure opportunities for future years, that the city have more of an open mind about creative solutions, the outdoor space, help create attractive and safe walkable streets, investment in the streetscapes, continuing the outdoor dining program in future years so patios are less expensive and easier to set up, AGCO and road closure guidelines simplified, and permitting to increase sustainable transportation. It also focuses on championing of street closures and placemaking projects that help revitalize main streets and support local businesses, attraction, and tourism facilities. Sponsor all-season socially distanced outdoor activities by normalizing outdoor gatherings and using policy and feed tools to reduce costs to businesses and increase their chance of survival. So some of those recommendations and actions from the task force are what framed this amendment to continue this work and funding. So through this amendment to the report, council has not only committed staff to continue the work, but has committed dollars to support this as well. That will be at least $750,000 over the next 2 years to support. And council has already waived the city-related fees for the temporary outdoor patio program in 2022, which will continue to support the food and beverage industry through extension of service into the outdoor realm space. With this direction from council, there needs to be some work done to scope what does this mean and how will this impact the community. But another key piece of the amendment to the report is that a new position is going to be created, which will be under the Tourism and Culture Division to lead this program and to scope it. A dedicated staff person will do outreach and develop a work plan based on the community needs. That position is currently posted, and I believe that posting closes tomorrow. So in the next few weeks and months, a staff person should be brought on board to begin the work on this. But some of the key elements from the job description that I wanted to share with the committee today is that the senior project manager, and I'm going to shorten that to SPM, will lead, coordinate, and manage the development of a variety of placemaking programs and projects, including temporary art installations, community art performances, and animation programming that enriches and enlivens public spaces for residents and visitors, develops project plans, work breakdown structures, project resource planning, including the identification of tasks, project schedules, milestones, and any team assignments, takes a lead role on community engagement as appropriate to initiate, develop, and implement a variety of placemaking opportunities and mediums, and facilitates public meetings, information sessions, stakeholder consultation, focus groups, and internal project meetings and sessions. So I did prepare that. I wanted to make sure I got the information correct to share with the committee. For those who were not aware of the amendment to the report and the continued work of the Mayor's Task Force, I wanted to share that with you today. And just some of the information that we have on what that motion will look like and some of the things that this group can expect in the coming weeks and months on how this could move forward in 2022 and 2023. So just a very quick verbal update on that piece.
Thank you, Julia. That's very good news, actually. And so I was wondering if there's any question or should, okay. Susie, you have a question?
Yeah, it's more of a comment than anything. I was really shocked that we didn't have any consultation on this before it went to council. Being an advisory committee, I thought our job was to be advised as to what was going to be affecting us. And then when it was announced in the media, that created a lot of confusion for all of us. And our members are confused and we don't even know what this program entails. So I think there was a missed opportunity here for some collaboration with the BIAs. And moving forward, I'd like to see that we're more involved in the planning of these kind of things. Listen, we appreciate any investment that the city's, not to take away from that the city's willing to make in BIAs, but it kind of caught us all like deers in headlights, and we still don't have answers for people that are asking questions. And because the media was, knocking on our doors, it just put us in a really awkward position. And I would just like to see more collaboration on these kind of things moving forward. That's my comment.
Julia or Judy, want to respond?
Sure, I'll add to that, and I'll since that motion went forward, Carrie Brooks Joyner, Director at Tourism Culture, Norm Schlehan, our Economic Development Director, and I have met and discussed that it is important to liaise with the BIAs, and so I think that this happened very quickly, and so I think the big issue will be when the SPM gets hired. Then that is when those consultations will happen, when the work plan gets developed, and I'm sure we will be consulted with them as well. So we will make sure that they understand the importance of the BIAs in the consultation process.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I think it took us a little by storm when the chair of the committee's seconding the motion, and we have no idea that this was even an option, right? So it shocked all of us. Several of us talked offline, and we want to make sure that we're taken seriously at this committee. We do really good work in the community, and we want to make sure that we're being consulted with. And so moving forward in this process, events are not for all of us what's going to work during this pandemic either. So it's like, maybe there's other options that we can look at. So if we can just keep the conversation flowing throughout, that would be really appreciative from all of us, I think.
Sure, and I'm sure that Julia, as in regular consultation, knows what's important to you as well. And so we'll make sure that your voices are heard when we hopefully meet with the new SPM when she gets, I keep saying she, I don't know why, Julia keeps, when this person gets hired.
Okay, great.
And
Thank you.
if I could echo that, of course, with this group, I will have open communication. I wanted to ensure that those who weren't aware of this direction, that we put it out in the meeting today, and I will follow up to the group with an email. But you do have my commitment that we will engage you as best we can, that we will keep you updated on what's happening, what this will look like. At this point, we do not have that information. And I wish that I was able to come to you with a little bit more concrete of a work plan or intention. But I will ensure that this group is updated on this piece, and that we continue to engage, because the work that you guys have done during the pandemic has been nothing short of amazing. And hopefully this funding will continue to support that and move forward your initiatives and your mandates and your BIAs.
Thank you, Julia. Christina?
Sorry, just had to unmute myself. So yes, so I too, the Concession Street BIA does echo what Susie has brought up. We are very, very appreciative of any funding and anything that can help us. But my specific question is, do we have a sense on when the senior project manager position would be staffed and when we might start seeing some more specifics come out that we might be able to benefit from this funding?
So if I could jump in on that one. I don't have specifics. The position is posted right now. Posted closing date is tomorrow. So hopefully in the next coming weeks, but I'm sorry, Christina, I don't have that at this time. I will see as about how I can find more of a timeline, what that will look like, and share that appropriately with the group. But I don't have that.
Is this an internal posting or is it internal and external?
I believe it is internal and external.
Okay, no, I'm just asking because if it's an external posting, then there may be some period of training involved in this position, which just kind of adds to the timeline on when we might actually get some traction on us being able to, just because we're planning, I think we're all planning to figure out what 2022 is going to look like for us. And if there is contingency funding that we could potentially reallocate somewhere else, or figure out as we're kind of, because we've already, all of us, I think, have built our budgets and already have our funding allocated into specific earmarked areas. So this, I know the sooner that we can get kind of a sense on what this is going to look like, as opposed to it landing in our lap and then all of a sudden we're scrambling to kind of rejig everything at the last minute.
If
No,
I
I
can
absolutely
add just
hear you.
one
I
thing.
will. Oh, sorry, Judy.
Sorry, I'm just saying, I've been on so many competitions, so just knowing how this works is it tends to take at least a couple of weeks for HR to vet through all the applications and resumes, and then make recommendations of their recommendations to interview. And then that interview process, you know, depending on whether it's one interview or they need to go seconds. And then the time that whoever is the person probably needs to give at least 2 weeks notice. You know, I think realistically, and I have no advanced knowledge, but just knowing the recruitment process, that it probably the person probably would not start till, you know, towards the end of March or April. And then as you said, external, usually, I mean, especially if they come in from outside the city, they need to be familiarized with the processes and then discuss with the senior manager what type of ideas that they're thinking for that role. So you know, by the time I think we see through that, we're talking about early summer, I would say May, June, when there's actually definitive ideas and consultations. That's what my guess is.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was asking, because I mean, just kind of making an educated forecast on what this timeline might look like. And I'm sure you're all aware that by this point, we will be already into the stream of financial commitments made to what our summer activities and marketing strategies will look like, because we'll already be halfway through the year. So it will be challenging for us to kind of refigure out what we do. But so if in the interim, if there's any way through Judy or through Julia, if you guys already have kind of a vision on what you think this funding will be permissible for, at least to say, think about this, and that way we can kind of start massaging our strategies to fit, that would be helpful. Just because if we start getting consultations in June when I've got Street Fest and Sidewalk Sounds and Book Crawl happening, I'm already going to be stretched to the limit. I'm a one-man show on Concession Street. So it's going to be hard for me to, one, collaborate with this new position, which I absolutely will want to. But then even from there, I won't benefit from it because my events will have already happened. So just to kind of think of some logistics from our end.
Thank you, Christina. That's actually great questioning, and overseeing this is very important. So Julia and Judy, thank you for coming, but I do need a mover and a seconder. And thank you for that great report, Susie and Christina. Thank you again and have a great day. I don't know if Julia's sticking around, but I think
I will stick around, Counselor.
Of course. Okay, so nobody opposed, so we're going to carry that. 10.2, Business Improvement Area Policy Template. Susan Penny, would you like to lead the discussion, please? Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, sorry, I just, I had spoken to Julia requesting whether or not she's provided the city's vaccine policy for me, but in the past, we've often had templates that have been done for the BIA for hiring, recruitment, for our procurement policy. So I just wanted to kind of bring up with the group and ask if you guys have put in place vaccine policies. And there was another one that I was thinking about that sort of come through COVID too. Just to make sure if we're putting in some things in place that we're all kind of on the same page. So I wanted to just inquire what other people have done with respect to that, and to see if there's a way that we could develop some templates that we could easily adapt, instead of all of us who are not legal people and not human rights people trying to figure this out ourselves at our end.
Thank you for that. Julia, who would answer that? Julia?
Thank you, Counselor, and thank you, Susan. I'd be happy to jump in on this. So I understand in the past that this committee has developed policies such as the hiring, procurement, as Susan had said. Is there an interest from the committee to look at a broader vaccine policy as a group collaborative effort? Or would it be more appropriate to potentially provide information and look at this BIA by BIA, engaging with our legal services team and our support staff at the city to answer that? So does the committee feel there's a need to do this at the committee level or more individually? And I would like to open that up to conversation so I can determine the best way to move forward with this, because I do think there's a gap, and some of you have identified that you want to look at this. So just the approach to take is what I'm looking for, direction from the group.
Anybody? Susie.
So, sorry, just like a quick question. So is it we're looking for more of a template to create policies? Is that what it is? Okay, because we just create our own as we go. And I think that's what we've always done, and then just attach them to the back of our bylaws. And it's been pretty straightforward. We're actually approving 2 policies at our board meeting tomorrow. But maybe it would be a matter of us maybe sharing some of those policies with each other, just to like have a bit of a guideline for that. I don't know. Are you looking, Susan, for more of like a formal policy template then that, you know, would be the standard for all policies for all of us?
Well, a lot of the ones that we have are ones that were adapted from the city's provided templates. So because we operate under the Municipal Act, I think sometimes if we have lawyers within our community or other people that understand what needs to go in the policies, for instance, with the hiring and recruitment one, a lot of the language that was in that would not be something that each of us individually would be specialists in to create those policies. So those templates are very helpful. And I think that, you know, being tasked with coming up with potentially a vaccine policy for our BIA, as that's such a moving target right now, and who knows what's going to happen in the next few months, but that, you know, there are a lot of human rights ramifications for things like that. So it's just the support of either having, obviously the fact that Julie has provided me with what the city has done has been a good starting point, but we're all really busy. And if we have to, you know, come up with some of these additional policies as issues emerge or as things change, that it's a lot more helpful if we have a basic template that we then adapt, as opposed to trying to create that on our own. Unless, as I said, you know, some of us might have more professionals in our membership that can support us in that than others. So, you know, if you have a board director who's willing to take something like that on because they've already done it for clients, and that's great. But if we don't have that, then we're a little bit more coming up with stuff from nowhere.
I see Lisa wants to chime in. Lisa?
Yeah, good morning, Lisa from downtown Dundas. I would totally be on side of the committee level template. It's on my agenda to get a policy done. So yeah, I'm in.
Can I ask a question? Is the policy to do with individual store, what they can do and what they cannot do about hiring? I'm a little bit baffled. What kind of policy are you talking about? Lisa?
For us, we have
Or
two
Julia,
staff.
whatever. Go ahead.
We have two staff members. We have a board. We have part-time casual staff that we bring on in the summer. So from the medical officer of health for Hamilton, they suggested that companies, organizations put in place a vaccine policy. So right now we don't have that in place. If we have to hire going forward, or if we start bringing in an election year, new directors, that, you know, our board would like us to have a position on how we are going to formally handle that as an organization, not for our individual members, but as an organization ourselves.
Just the BIA organization. Okay, that's clearer. Julia?
So it sounds like it's there's an interest around the table to review these policies at a committee level. So what I'd like to do, add this to next month's agenda, again, as a discussion item, attach some of the policies, and then we can have that discussion at the broader table to which apply, which do not, and which need to be updated. Would that be a good approach?
Sure. Committee, what do you think? Everything good? Everybody thumbs up?
Okay.
Okay.
So if that is the direction of the committee, I'll work with Angela to get that added. Try to get those circulated ahead of time so that folks have time to review them, but we can look at them at a committee level. We will adapt them, agreed upon. I don't believe that those, once adapted, are mandatory to be adopted by every BIA. They will be optional, but they will be in place to assist when those questions come up from your boards. So we will begin that work at our committee meeting next month. And work through that over the next few weeks and months. We'll prioritize it as a group, and then you'll have those resources available as needed.
All right, that sounds fair. And Susan, thank you. We need a mover and a seconder to approve and receive the discussion. So there is Lisa and there is Susan. Thank you. And nobody opposes it, so it is passed, and we're going to move on to motions. Motion 11.1, parking meters located in business improvement area during the free Christmas parking program. Susan, would you like to introduce your motion and who is the seconder?
Yep, sure. So as we all discussed, several of us were a little bit quite disappointed that the markers weren't put on the meters this Christmas as they have in previous years. So I'd like to put forth the motion, whereas the holiday shopping season is an important season for businesses located in business improvement areas, whereas business improvement areas that take part in the free Christmas parking program rely on this benefit for their businesses to attract customers during the holiday shopping season. And whereas parking meters located in the free Christmas parking program areas were not clearly identified for the 2021 free Christmas parking program, therefore it be resolved that parking staff be directed to clearly mark all parking meters in business improvement areas that take part in the free Christmas parking program during the holiday season. approximately November 24th to December 24th, and attend the March 22nd, 22 Business Improvement Area Subcommittee meeting with an update.
Great. And who is your seconder?
Christina.
I am.
Okay, Christina. All right. So nobody opposes, so it is passed. Thank you. We're going to move on to general information. We're going to have a verbal update from Julia.
Hello, it's me again. Thank you, everyone. I don't have too many updates this month, so I won't take up too much of the committee's time. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to those of you that have shared the business needs and workforce survey link. You were each sent individual links earlier in January. And I know many of you have shared those through your newsletters and to your networks. Thank you. That information is so important. I know in some cases there is a bit of survey fatigue, but we really appreciate the BIA's support on that. And if you have shared your individual link, we have committed to collating your information and the results from your responses, and we will share that with you. So that should be coming in the next few weeks. At this point, I do want to advise that the survey is still open and will remain open till end of day on Friday, February 11th. So if you could do a final push this week, that would be very much appreciated. If you need your link again, please let me know. I'm happy to share it. But thank you for your support and circulating that to your memberships. We've had well over 1,000 surveys started, which is really good news. In addition, this kind of builds on the policy discussion that we just had. But knowing that this is an election year for not only municipal council, but your boards as well, I do want to take some time in our future meetings to touch on the governance expectations and some of the things that yourselves and your boards will need to be aware of this year and around some of the protocols in place, just to make sure that everybody is comfortable as we lead into potential change in boards. So you will see that either as a standing item as we go through the year or added to various meetings, just to help you ensure that you're able to be successful and answer the questions your board members may have. I also, after last month's meeting, shared the audit information with everybody. Again, we're doing 2 rounds of audits this year. You will either be in June or September, and we have predetermined that. Everybody has had an email with their key dates sent. So if you are within the June audit cycle, March 8th is when your documentation is due to Isabella in Accounting Services. You have hard copies that you're going to be delivering. Please make arrangements with Isabella, as she's not in the office every day, but can meet you. And please note that their offices have moved to the Lister block, 28 James Street North on the 4th floor. So you're no longer going to 120 King Street West. Into the Lister block for that. So any questions or information you have around audits, please let me know and I'll do my very best to help you. But that audit season is upon us. Just a reminder as you're preparing your audit information as well, if everybody could send me all of your meeting minutes from 2021, I have to keep those in my files and I want to be sure that those are updated as per my requirements legislatively. So please send me all your meeting minutes or the link to the drive that they're on, and I will update my files. And then finally, there will be a report coming in the next few weeks recommending that the temporary outdoor patio program be made permanent. This is a coalition of both the outdoor dining districts program and the on-street patio program. We've made some recommendations on fees, terms and conditions, and how that can be updated and be made permanent. And as I mentioned earlier in my discussion item, Council has already determined that the city fees will be waived again in 2022, so that will continue to be a support for businesses. So that's really the high-level update that I have this month for the committee. And if there's any questions or anything that I haven't touched on, I'd be happy to connect now and chat about that.
Great, thank you. And I see Christina has a question. Julia?
Hi, Julia. So just touching on the on-street patios, do you have a sense on when the applications might be open for businesses for this summer season, or are they already, or like, I'm not sure, like.
Normally they open the last week of February.
Last week of February.
And that's what we're aiming for this year. if I had to guess, I would say the week of the 21st.
Okay.
But once we get everything updated and determine that, I will circulate information to all of the BIAs and to all of the past program participants so they're aware of those dates. So in the next few weeks, we'll be.
Okay, great. Now, I know that in conversations with some of my businesses on Concession Street and their experiences with the on-street patio program, the on-street one, it sounded like the city's preference was, in lieu of putting a patio in a parking spot, that the preference was to incline towards the pedestrian crossover or the pedestrian bridges. Is that still hold true moving forward? Is the city going to encourage that versus kind of a setup versus and just encouraging businesses to take over the entire sidewalk?
So we have been encouraging that from a safety perspective for the last 2 years. In some places in the city and some locations, patios, a pedestrian bypass just isn't viable. So we're willing to work with applicants. We want to push in that direction so people are sitting on the sidewalk, not in the parking space on the roadway, just from a safety perspective. But both designs are still available. And I'm thinking of a few spots up on Concession, we just could never put a pedestrian bypass there because it goes into other driveways and entrances, etc. So it will have to be a case-by-case consideration. We'd like to push to that, but it may not be realistic in every single circumstance.
Okay, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, and maybe my question is, maybe we should have somebody from that program come and speak to the group about kind of what the guidelines are and what the city will look more favorably upon. That be, what you just said though, but if you're allowed to put a patio in a spot, I mean, if you're allowed to sit there, then you should be allowed to be able to put a bypass as well. So anyways, that's not really for you. I guess it's more for the organizers of the programs and for the people that are approving these applications. What I would really like to ask them or see is where we've got the bump outs that we have on Concession Street, which kind of compresses the space a little bit, but there's all this additional kind of not wasted space, but like from a real estate perspective for a business to be able to take advantage. If there's a way that we could work with those corners to create something that the city would be in favor of. So anyway, so I guess my ask is if we could have somebody come in and speak to the group once, once the applications are open. I mean, it would have been nice actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if before they open up, but at least if we can kind of guide our businesses as they because they always come to us with the questions first, right? So.
Yeah, and again, we'd be happy to do that, and we can take that offline and discuss it further for your specific area. In the past, the program, although the applications open in February, council approved the program to begin no installation until May 1st. So there is a bit of a buffer, right? We're not looking to install these in March. We do have a bit of time on that design piece for the on-street patio. So we'd be more than happy to come connect with the group. And I will be the lead administrator going forward on this program. So I'll engage my review team to come and share those specifics, either at individual board levels or come to this committee to share those specifics as well.
Thank you, Julia. And I think we have Tracy would like to ask a question. Go ahead.
Thanks, Julia. We appreciate all your help on the patios. It certainly helps all our BIAs. So you actually answered my question a second ago. So it starts May 1st. Would be the earliest time a patio can set up.
That's how the on-street patio has been in the past. We haven't determined the recommendation to council on when the municipal property patios will start in 2022. That will be in the final report, but it will be May 1st or when there's no more snow, knock on wood, we have to work with our traffic operations team and all of that. So I don't have that answer specifically right now, but that will all be scoped as the applications open so that businesses can prepare. We're in the final stages of that, so I should have an update for the committee next week, just on some of those specifics to answer those questions.
Perfect, because we'd love to be able to open ours even April 1st or something. So we're ready to go whenever you guys give us the go ahead. Thank you for the outdoor dining districts. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? I don't see any. And Julia, you're always welcome to give us updates. We love updates. Okay. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Lisa and Tracy. Okay. And I don't see anybody opposing. So it passes, and we're going to move on to 13.2, statements by members. And I would like to invite all members for their updates, and we'll go alphabetically order. Katie from Ancaster, BIA. Oh, Katie's not here. All right. We're going to go to Jessica Myers. Welcome, new member.
Hello, yes, sorry.
Problem.
Yeah, so what, how does this work, this part of the meeting?
Well, you just share what you have planned for your BIA in a couple of minutes or a minute, whatever you have.
Well, what we have planned, still, that's a work in progress. It's been probably a month since I've been in the role now, and so I've just sort of learning what the priorities are for the neighborhood, meeting with all the stakeholders, and kind of, putting that strategic plan in order for us. So not necessarily much to report right now, but hopefully at the next meeting, I'll have more to share. But yeah, just learning the lay of the land, being able to be a part of these meetings is really great, and see all your faces and learn your different priorities and what here in the city of Hamilton is important to the BIA world. So I really appreciate all these opportunities to learn more about each of you and what the city of Hamilton is up to.
Thank you, Jessica. You're doing a great job, and welcome again.
Thank you.
All right, then we're going to go to Christina, Concession Street.
Okay, so I do have a few updates. So as I said, we are being featured on CHCH Morning Live. We're doing a Valentine's Day special. So that is airing as we speak. Also for Valentine's Day, we're doing a giveaway, a dinner and movie theater from the Zoetic Valentine's Day kind of sweetheart giveaway. So that's going on social media. We're working on getting some new banners designed and installed on Concession Street. That's going to showcase our new motto, "It's happening here," a good pop of color and some artwork to beautify the street. Our book crawl is continuing every month, the third Saturday of every month. This month again is going virtual, and this is in large part because of the weather. That being said, we're partnering with Book Crawl, and they're going to be allowing our businesses, because it's going to be kind of through like a Facebook Live portal where businesses will be able to jump on and kind of give a tour of their business or do like a little commercial interlude between the authors that will be speaking. So that's kind of an exciting opportunity for them to get a little bit more exposure. Like I said, we continue to plan for Sidewalk Sounds and Street Fest, which hopefully will be going live. Obviously, we'll work within public health mandates. The one thing that I will say is this year we are not inviting outside vendors. So we are going to make these events 100% about our small businesses and bring in some Hamilton performers from an entertainment perspective. And then new business news, we had Susie's Sweet Tooth, a custom cake place, open up at 788 Concession. Good Friends Sandwich Company opened up at 522 Concession, so those two are now open. I did get notice that a Dollarama will be opening up at 503 Concession, so that will be happening late spring. Renovations have already started. The Parlor at 581 should be opening in the next few weeks, as well as Bok Bok Chicken, which will be operating out of kind of an adjacent space to the Parlor. And as well, I've been told that the Tap at the Town Hall, which is like a beer gastro spot, is being designed and should be open for late spring as well at a 581 Concession. So that's kind of exciting news. And we are on track for more on-street patios and pedestrian bypasses this summer. So hopefully that'll add to the stickiness of our business corridor and attract lots of people. That's it for me.
Thank you, Christina. Concession is hopping.
Well, they have me hopping anyways.
That's right. Anyways, I see Carrie's not here, but Lisa is from Dundas BIA.
I am. Hello, good morning, everyone. Dundas, a few updates. We still have patios running, and there are people sitting on them, braving the January, February cold. Good for them. Just been busy onboarding some new board members and getting them familiar with what we do, how we do it, when we do it, and so discussing 2022, or making predictions for 2022, I guess I could say. We'll see how it goes. So that's all from me for today.
Thank you. Lisa, next is Susie from International Village.
So we have a new dumpling restaurant that's opened up, which is great. We have a new gallery coming as well. Looking forward to that. We currently just released our new social media campaign for the sort of late winter, which we're really excited about. We have been busy sort of prepping policies for the year and things that will be approved at our board meeting tomorrow. And basically January was just me writing my Main Street grants. So I'm glad that that is off my plate now, because that was a lot of work. So we applied for 3 big grants. So we'll see if we get those. If we do, then that will keep me very busy this year. So a lot of good positive things happening in the area right now.
That's great. Thank you, Susie. Next is, I don't see Bettina.
Yeah.
Is she here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't see your picture. Okay. Bettina from Lock Street BIA. There you are.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
We just had a marketing meeting the other day, and we're going to start with participating in the Hamilton Winterfest, doing wellness wanders on Lock Street the weekend of February 26th. So it's just going to be businesses kind of presenting. We're going to have a bit of a checklist that people can either print or have on their phone. And the businesses are going to offer some kind of like wellness tip in their window, whether it's like 5 minutes of stretching or facial tips from wildfire, that kind of thing. Or, at Bread Bar, we could have some kind of kombucha or cider, like a local offering for that weekend. And then people can check. And then once they get the checklist completed, there'll be some kind of incentive, like gift certificates for business on Lock Street. So we're going to do that for Hamilton Winterfest. And then Tracy's working on getting a finalized calendar for the 2022 year out to businesses. And we have some new spots. So there's Maddie's Hot Chickens coming in. Coco and Rex, that was a pop-up, is not going to be permanent, with some other businesses also participating in that location. There's a new barbershop. Tracy, maybe jog my memory if I'm forgetting something.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
That's good. Lots of action though on
Yeah.
Lock.
Right. Thank you, Bettina.
No problem.
Is that it? Thank you. Next is Maggie Burns, Ottawa Street. There you are. Ottawa Street BIA.
So I'm just kind of working on getting caught up on everything since returning. Yeah, I had come back and we hadn't applied to the My Main Street grant. So just did that in 5 days. And I didn't sleep for 5 days. So that's over. I mean, I just felt like it was worth trying in the final hour there. Who knows what the results will be, but so that took up a lot of my kind of return time. So now I'm just sort of trying to get caught up on everything else and sort of see where we're at with everything else. We do have some events, it looks like, in motion. So just trying to figure out where we stand with planning for those. Larger ones, we have a pretty big one in May, so lots of work to do for that. Otherwise, just we have our first board meeting on Thursday, so that will be a good opportunity to kind of look at where we stand as far as where we're allocating our marketing funds and et cetera. So just really, honestly, at this stage, getting caught up, but happy to be back and nice to see everyone.
Thank you. And we're glad you're back and you're doing a great job. Thank you. Okay, next is Susie from Waterdown. There you go, Susie.
Hi, yeah, I don't have too much. We're working on our calendar for the year. We have a marketing meeting on Monday and a board meeting on Tuesday, so we hope to have the whole year nailed down by then. Lots of moving parts to get that together, and kind of a bit of a slow start to the year with respect to some of the campaigns because we're trying to get our website up. That's been a big focus. We're hoping to launch at the end of the month or middle of March, and of course don't want to have a concurrent campaign running that forces people when we're in that transition and migrating content from one to the other. So that's been a bit of our focus. On our members news, we've got a little bit of musical chairs happening. We've had a few businesses changing locations, so they've stayed within the footprint. Carousel Kids was in the Sobeys Plaza. They've moved to a smaller upstairs space over the Copper Kettle building. That is opened up a space there, which a new boutique from Oakville, Lucy Boutique, is moving in. They have a soft launch planned for the middle of the month. We have Along the Road, which is a spa running boutique that was on Mill Street, and they've moved into a smaller space where Campbell and Company were, who've now moved into a larger space. So there's just a little bit of shuffling all within the area. And I have been told, but have not seen it yet, that a well-known business florist in the area who was just outside of the BIA footprint is taking over a space that's opening up within the footprint. So a little bit of action within our businesses. We have Della Sol Yoga and Ouroboros Jiu-Jitsu that closed down, I believe, in November of this year, and those spaces were instantly being renovated. So we're looking forward to seeing what's coming into those locations.
Thank you, Susan. And I'm sorry I called you Susie. I'm reading from my phone and it's so small. I need to see it. So Susan, thank you again. Tracy from Westdale Village and Stony Creek BIA. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll be quick. So Stony Creek, just like everyone, we're finalizing our calendars for 2022 planning, events and activities, our farmers market, and we are patio ready as soon as Julia tells us to go ahead. We had a new yoga place open and all the businesses are hanging in, which is great to see. And we love snow, but we're anxiously awaiting spring. And in Westdale, again, same 2022 planning events and activities, our farmers market, and we are even more patio ready in Westdale, ready to go. And we had a new wine store open, which is great. The first standalone wine store for Colio Wines and Thornbury Cider. Our students have just come back to McMaster in person, so sort of rotating through classes. So we are quite happy to see that. And in both areas, we're being very fluid and flexible depending on what we're allowed. And yeah, Lock Street, Bettina gave that update, but again, 2022, getting our calendar, so we're all set. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, we talked about patios. I love patios in the winter, actually. I was skiing up north and all the patios outside was amazing. I mean, it was really cold, but the sun was out and it was great. So maybe we should start a patios for the winter. I don't know. I think we should try. Anyways, thank you, everyone. And I need a mover and a seconder for to receive the statements. And Susan and Susie, thank you. And I see nobody opposes, so we're going to move on for adjournment. And I need a mover and a seconder, please. Christina and Lisa, thank you. You have a great day today. And the last couple of days been sunny. It's just been beautiful. So have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Counselor.